Hello everyone, this is Finchinator here, and I'm going to be doing something a bit special for the end of OST. I'm going to be narrating both of the semifinal series and the final series. I'm not going to spoil the results for those of you that don't know it, but I'm going to be posting this in the OST thread, so odds are if you're at this posting, you're probably going to know the results. But I will say that the two series, the first one that I'll be narrating, and also the first one that happened sequentially was between ABR and ILoveLeague, where the second one was between Malekith and Bengay. All four of these players have been in the tournament scene in the past. ILoveLeague probably has the least exposure, whereas Malekith probably has the most. ABR has been among the best OU players with consistently good results for the past couple years, whereas Bengay has been one of the most innovative and creative players for the past 2 3 years with his fair share of good results as well. So we've got four really interesting competitors. ILoveLeague is a bit newer into the scene, as I said, but he played for Canada last World Cup, and he's had a really good run so far, beating players like Poick, who's a solid player. So hopefully we're going to get some good battles. This is game one between ABR and ILoveLeague. As you can see, I'm going to be splitting it up into two videos. The first video covering the ABR versus ILoveLeague series, be it two games because it's best of three, or three if both players split the first two games. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the teams used. I knew ABR's teams coming into this series, so I'm gonna say a bit of insight in them. But I'm gonna try not to spoil too much, so bear with me in that regard. I did not know League's teams, but I've already watched this series. I haven't already watched the other series fully, just sort of caught parts of it in class. So that's going to be a bit more surprising to me, open to me. I just know the result. But this series, I'm going to probably have a bit more intel on. Hopefully, that'll help enhance my narration. So anyway, ABR bringing a bit of a slightly unconventional, balanced slash bulky offensive build. You can probably classify it as either. I'd probably label it bulky offensive, but balanced. I mean, it has a wall or two, so yeah. And then League is bringing a probably slightly faster paced bulky offensive team, but it still definitely has a clear defensive core. Knowing his sets and how it plays out, it's probably more bulky offensive than balanced. But yeah, I mean that's just a very small detail. Both these teams are pretty solid. There's not really many glaring weaknesses. I mean, between the 12, you don't see a single ghost resist, but there aren't many of those in the meta game. Just running a blob or Greninja, which doesn't even really count as a resist because it's a freaking glass cannon. So yeah, looking at the teams, it looks like League is probably going to be Rocks on Tran or Orlando T, whereas ABR is Rocks on his Ferrothorn, which could lead to the amazing innovative Pasho Thorn, or it could just be Stealth Rocks with like an attack or two, Leech Seed Protect, etc. Um, as for Scarfers, on League's team, it's most likely Keldeo, but it could be Heatran, and as for ABR's team, Latios and Gengar are the viable Scarfers. Z-move users, League could have Lando, could have Tapu Koko, could have Heatran, or even Keldeo if it's not Scarf, but I'm inclined to believe it's Scarf given the format of this team. Whereas ABR, it's probably going to be, if he has one, Gengar, Magierna. Anyway, in terms of team matchups, if that's Specs Gengar for ABR, it does pretty well. Additionally, that Magierna, if it's hidden power fire, then it could get a surprise kill on the scissor or something, which could set up Veladios, which also could do work if it's like Surf plus hidden power fire, but that's a bit more rare this gen. The Salt plus Tangrowth can also check that. Looking at the team that ILoveLeague is using, um, his main condition of victory probably could be offensive Heatran if it's like Bloom Doom or Solar Beam Power Herb, because that'll do well, especially if it's like some four attacks like in Power Ice. That'd be actually really lit in this matchup. But he doesn't really break anything on ABR's team like outright. However, an offensive Swords Dance, Landorus, Darien, if that's not Mega Pro, which I think it probably is off the structure do well. He's really got to do some wearing. Maybe sleep something if it's sleep on Tangrowth, knock some stuff off, get some Scald Burns, So I said a matchup slightly favors ABR just because off the bat, he has a bit more of an ability to break through League's team and threaten it. But that all can depend on different sets, different items, etc. So let's get into the battle. So yeah, let's 1 second. I'm just gonna put it on slow. Okay, now let's get into the battle. So we're gonna see a Tangrowth for League, and we're gonna see a Gengar for ABR. So I'm just gonna pause. I'm gonna try not to be too choppy with this narration, but I just want to give some analysis. The Gengar is probably in a bit of an advantageous position against Tangrowth just because Sludge Wave, which is a staple, is obviously gonna hit super effectively, and if it specs, it does so much. It probably kills even Assault Vest variants, but Tangrowth isn't like totally dead in this matchup. I mean, you're gonna switch out in turn one, but like if it's like Scarf Gengar and you could knock off or Earthquake it later and kill it, or I mean, if not, then like significantly weaken it if it's at full. So like yeah, I mean, this isn't like 100-0, but I mean, Gengar generally has an initiative here. ABR might be ballsy enough to fire off the Shadow Ball, particularly lead to go to a Steel type. I think that's probably what I would do, but I mean, then again, it's turn one, so he could double out or he could just spam Sludge Wave because it's the easy move, even that Tangrowth is out. But Liga is definitely going to switch, most likely into Scizor or Heatran, so let's see what happens. ABR is going to go Ferrothorn, probably wanting to get something up on a Tangrowth, whereas League goes to Heatran. That's a big advantage for him. Now Heatran is going to reveal its set, basically, here, using Fire Blast, and we're going to see that does 48% to Latios. That pretty much reveals that it's a Spexy Dreadwing. It's actually a really cool set from League. I like it. It's just some breaking prowess. It's got some surprise factor. Those kind of things on offensive teams, things that League likes to run on his builds, from what I've noticed from his run. So yeah, that does 48.2%. And now you've really got to think, okay, a lot of teams just would be straight up dicked by this because offensive fires aren't really covered sufficiently in this metagame. A lot of teams have like a Scarf Keldeo and then like a random Greninja as their like fire resist. But like, nah, ABR didn't bring one of those teams. He's got a Slowbro, which probably takes 45-50% from Fire Blast, and a Zygarde, which could be Coil and take like 30, or it could be offensive and take like 40-45. But I mean, at the same time, this can apply pressure, and if it's like Hidden Power Ice or Hidden Power Grass or Dark Pulse, which PDC ran on a Spexytran in XY World Cup game, then I mean, if it clicks the right move, it can threaten pretty much anything on ABR's team, which sort of gives League a bit of a window in this matchup, I feel. And if he clicks the right coverage move, they can do even better. But Fire Blast is somewhat spammable just because it does significant damage to everything, even if it's not necessarily an Ochko. But yeah, let's get into further turns. So now we're going to see a double by ABR here, and it's going to be on Switch Fearing Surf into Tangrowth. This is an advantage for Tangrowth as a ground type. So then ABR is going to go right back into his Ferrothorn. There's going to be a critical hit knockoff, which is really irrelevant. It knocks off the leftovers, which is the most common item on Ferrothorn. And now we're going to see Heatran come in for League. It's going to be Stealth Rock for ABR, which is a fine play. But now the Heatran's in a position to threaten something. ABR's going to go Slowbro. Now, my guess here is that he calculated this because it did 50%. So yeah, and then he's just gonna live another. 50% is probably near the maximum range. I don't know the EV spread off the top of my head. I could find it, but yeah, so he slacks off. This is Mega Bro given lack of leftovers. He's probably gonna slack off again here if I had to guess, but Coco is a good play from League. It's pretty safe. He's not gonna attack. He's got to slack off or switch out. But yeah, now ABR goes to his Ferrothorn, which is his Coco check. And Volt Switch from Coco reveals a bit about his set. No Life Orb. Could be Magnet. Could be Easy Item. Could be Toy Scarf, which is not a very good set. Now we're going to get Heatran in again here for League, putting him in a position to threaten his opponent. However, Slowbro is going to come in and dodge a Fire Blast, which kind of saves ABR in turn, which is good for him. But that PP being missed and yeah, the lack of initiative is good for ABR or bad for League. And he's going to fire off his call, not get a burn of Tangrowth, reveal that it's 100% Assault Vest Tangrowth. A knock here, revealing that it's a Mega Bro because it does not survive him. And ABR stays in, trying to get the Skull Burn. Fisherman tactic not working very well. He's then not on point. And he's going to go to his Ferrothorn and ensuing turns, get up the Giga Drain, which is going to be a correct prediction on his part because Giga Drain is going to come in only do 5%. Now, League is going to be forced out into a Scizor here. And ABR is going to make a nice double switch into Magearna. Now, before we get into this turn, I just want to do some catching up because I don't want to go too quickly for everyone. Not much has happened. I mean, ABR got up Stealth Rock. He's sort of, playing around some things, predicting some things here and there. And League's just making some solid plays consistently. But the Magearna set kind of plays a big role in this matchup. I mean, if it's in Par Fire, it threatens this, but Tran could potentially wall up. But Tran takes Stealth Rock every time, and as you see, it's not at full right now. It's at 87.6%. Which does already one Stealth Rock. He's gonna keep taking Stealth Rock, no leftovers recovery, and there's obviously no like Wish or anything in his team. So yeah, any damage on Heatran is good, and if you get like a Volt Switch off on it here, predicting it, then that's gonna be even more chips. So yeah, I mean, if the Magearna can outlast the Tran, then it's gonna be doing damage. I mean, it fires off, 40-50%. So kind of if it's max special attack, and if it's not, it's still like 35%. So it punishes the Tangrowth. It's not weak, but if it lacks in Power Fire, then this is gonna wall it. We're gonna have to wait and see. That's just assuming it's Assault Vest, because given this team structure, it's looking like more and more Assault Vest. Because yeah, and if it's a Z move user, then I'd have to guess that it probably would be Z Fight, just because that's the set ABR likes the most. Which after a couple rounds of Stealth Rock, really would fuck over the Scizor. But I mean, Yeah, that would be a threat. Actually, that'd be a real big threat to League's team. That's actually a pretty good pick against League, I'd say. But I don't know if that's really the set on this team. Yeah, we're gonna have to wait and see though. So League is gonna be threatened out by the prospect of hit power fire, and he goes to Tangrowth, which is totally fine. And ABR is just gonna volt switch, not revealing anything, doing a mere 6% after Rocks leaving Tangrowth at 82%. I went to the Gengar again, the same matchup as a lead, and yeah, League is probably gonna be threatened out. Shadow Ball here is a likely play, I'd say. Shadow Balls at the 60% that revealing out of specs and leaving Scissor very weak, putting ABR in a slightly advantageous position, I'd say. There's going to be another Shadow Ball here, and the Tangrowth doing 40, and we're going to get a drop. That's really big in my opinion because the Tangrowth could probably either knock it out of a ton with Knockoff or Earthquake, depending on which it covered or both. I mean, if then Knockoff might be a bit safer to get something else. But I mean, you've already knocked Pharaoh, so maybe Earthquake would have been better. I don't know. I mean, you leave one for either of those plays, but the drop makes it so the Tangrowth gets killed here. So he pretty much has to lose a Pokemon here. You could fire off the Scissor, you could fire off this Tangrowth. The Heatran to Akio. The Keldeo, I mean, it lives one, but then it'll be limited to a Rock Switch or two, and you don't want it weakened in this matchup, especially with things like Zygarde and this Gengar running amok for the remainder of the game. You don't want to, you can't go to Landorus because it's gonna basically get to a KO. It's not Scarf on this team. It's probably Stealth Rock given the Transat. So yeah, that drop is big for ABR. Puts him in an even more of a driver's seat position than he was before. So now we're gonna see League says ugh in the chat, rightfully so. But now we're going to see the Scissor get fathered off, putting ABR in a 6 to 5 position. And we're going to see a Landorus Therian from League as the follow up, likely to get Stealth Rock up, could be to threaten it. He's going to go to Slowbro here. He goes for Z Continental Crush, and I don't really agree with this play per se. But I mean, it was sort of about a desperation at this point because League's team is sort of slowly but surely getting whittled away, whereas ABR's team is just outlasting him. And ABR is just in really a strong position right now, as I said, and that kind of not surprising given the matchup. But yeah, I mean, I guess that was trying to catch ABR like on a choke on Gladios or something on an Earthquake or a Swords Dance to potentially break through. But he went to Slowbro, which is a safe and fine play. And sure enough, that's going to reward him. It only did 43%, and that wastes the Z totally. So yeah, I mean, ABR drops in the chat. That's pitiful. Probably a bit unnecessary for him to say, but I mean, what's he going to do? I see him here. Only does a mere 26% Tangrowth. Probably going to force the Slowbro out. Tangrowth doubles Heatran. And is he going to catch Pharaoh? He's going to catch the Ferrothorn. So very well played by League, but he's still in a very poor position. Zygarde to play here. Maybe we'll get a burn or something. Could give him a window, but nope. Only 41% revealing that it's probably his Choice Banded. Maybe I has a little special defense on Choice Band, so that wouldn't surprise me. Because that's not like 0-0 damage, I don't think. 1,000 arrows is a safe play from ABR. Does a mere 20% at the rocks. It does about as much as Regenerator, however. ABR is now going to pivot into the Magearna, scouting Hidden Power Ice. 3.1%. Very nicely played. Volt Switch, 6%. So yeah, now we're probably going to see Ferrothorn here. Yup. We're going to see Earthquake, aforementioned move. And then we're going to see Knockoff. Just predicting a switch, I guess. And then we're going to see a knockoff from the Ferrothorn as well, knocking off the Assault Vest. I mean, ABR is just kind of slowly eroding away at this team. In the driver's seat, I'd say. We got Landorus Therian coming in here now on a Leech Seed. Yep, ABR got that right. Looking good so far. Stealth Rock is going to be player reveal. That's probably Stealth Rock, Swords Dance, Stone Edge, Earthquake with Roxy. Power Whip is just going to be played to chip it away from ABR. This game looking not necessarily over, but in very, very good position for ABR. Is he going to double predicting this? Slowbro, not really predicting that. Good play from League there. But the Tangrowth is still low. He could double out here, or he could just go for a Giga Drain and safe play. Yep, gonna go for that. Get a critical hit, doing only 9% to the especially defensive Assault Vest Magearna. Magearna's probably just gonna Volt, could Flare Cannon. He's gonna Flash Cannon, doing 8% to the Drain, getting a special defense drop, which is the epitome of irrelevance. Now we're probably gonna see Zygarde or Slowbro or Gladios here. I mean, any of them work. They're all resist. We're gonna see Zygarde overheat 50%, leaving it at a mere 3%, meaning that after Stealth Rock, it's dead. I wonder if he's gonna outrage here if he's got the ball to pull that trigger, and he does, doing a nice 54% to the especially defensive Assault Vest Tangrowth. And now we're gonna see a Coco double, which is the obvious play because it's a fire type. It's locked into outrage. So yeah, this Zygarde is as good as dead, and the game is 5-5. However, ABR still in a commanding position. We're going to see a Volt Switch, which didn't really make sense to me at the time. Doesn't really make sense to me now, but it doesn't matter because ABR's got no removal that's shown yet. I mean, it could be Default Gladius, probably is. But, I mean, there's no point in saving the Zygarde at this point just because it did what it needed to do. And the Scizor is dead. The Tangrowth is weakened. So, yeah, Hidden Power Ice to play the next turn. Probably should have went for that turn 36, but that's fine. I mean, either way now. ABR reveals Latios. It could be Scarf, likely given how he played it. We're gonna see Psyshock killing the Tangrowth. So yep, that's putting him in a 5-4 position after it was evened out at 5-5 for a minute. We're gonna see a Heatran as the follow up here. Oh, excuse me. Um, television. Okay, now we're gonna see a Ferrothorn Father, which is a fine play. He doesn't need the Ferrothorn anymore, considering the Tapu Koko is probably in Scarf Latios Psyshock range after this Stealth Rock or another. And it's not really walling much of the other things, considering Landorus has already been worn out by it, and Keldeo is not checked by it. Keldeo is checked by Slowbro, and to an extent, Magearna. Shadow Ball is going to be play after the fodder as Gengar comes to revenge kill the Heatran, but doesn't get to do so as Landorus sees instead the fodder, as I said. And now we're going to see Magearna come in on the Tapu Koko Volt Switch, doing a mere 23%, confirming the previously mentioned set of special defensive assault west. Heatran is going to come in here and probably pick off a kill on Magearna. Yup, because ABR just doesn't need this. And now he's probably just going to go to he could go to either of these. And Gengar's probably like it's quick or can't get like hacks to shit and just clucks Shadow Ball for a kill. Instead, League is going to go to Keldeo, which will barely live this after a couple Stealth Rock rounds. Yep, 77. So he lives 2 Stealth Rocks. Gets the drop, which is once again irrelevant. We're going to see a double here from League. Interesting play. Probably predicting this Slowbro. No. Ooh. Okay, ABR caught him there, but I think this game was over regardless with Scarf Latios. Lee just drops a good game in the chat, and this is a good game. Yup, and now we're going to see the Slowbro here, this time just for safekeeping, Scald, Hydro Pump rather 29% at feeling Scarf. League forfeits. I mean, if you think about it, the Heatran is at 29.7% after rocks. Yeah, Scarf Psyshock just swept from there. And I do know ABR sets, and I will confirm any suspicion that it might not be that, because that was the set. It was Scarf Psyshock, so cleaned either way. That ABR staying in there is just being safe, protecting from a double switch and a random, like, I don't know, Roost Tapu Koko. You don't want to give him a free turn or some shit. So yeah, good play from ABR. League definitely didn't play poorly, in my opinion. League just couldn't do too much. I disagree with 1 or 2 plays, but they weren't really fundamental misplays. They were more just sort of shots in the dark, desperation plays to try and get in the game that he really wasn't in. Just good matchup from ABR, good team playing from ABR. League had a nice tech in Spexy Trend, but it didn't work out very well in this matchup, unfortunately. Hopefully that'll do work in a future game for League and some other tournament, other round. But yeah, so 1-0 lead for ABR, looking commanding. And let's get into the game too. So I'm gonna try and dilly dally a bit less because it's 17 minutes for a game. So yeah, League's team is really cool. It's got Mega Metagross, Gastrodon, which is a nice Pokemon to see. Tornado Starion, which is a bit underrated right now, but it's still not amazing as it was last generation. We're going to see Mew, which is really trending right now, and then a Pokemon that's the exact opposite of trending right now, in my opinion, Tapu Bulu, which is still okay Pokemon, but like it gets a lot of shit and it deserves some of it. It's still good with like Grassy Terrain, but it just doesn't synergize very well. It's not a great stall breaker anymore, especially given like how common Zapdos and shit is. And the last Pokemon is Garchomp. Oops, I'm sorry, I forgot that. But yeah, looking at the team, probably Stealth Rock, Mew, and Scarf Chomp, but it could be Stealth Rock, Chomp, and no Scarf or random other Scarfer. I don't know. Likely Assault Vest on the Tornado Starion and mixed defense, probably maybe a bit more physically defensive oriented, given that Assault Vest on the Tornado Steep. It could be specially defensive for Greninja. Actually, probably yeah, special defensive special oriented because of Greninja on the Gastrodon. It's just a Mega Metagross. I'd gather that it's a Pursuit variant, given that it's only Steel type in the team, and that's just sort of how team building works. But I mean, if he thinks that these 2 aforementioned special defense Pokemon are enough for Tapu Lele, then maybe he could bypass that. Just that's the gist of League's team though. And ABR brought a bit of an interesting team. I mean, I tested this with him, so I think he's a bit more interesting than maybe it looks from the blind eye. But yeah, he's got a Greninja, which could be Protein or Ash structure. Another Mew, which, as I said, is a trending Pokemon. I mean, South Rock, utility Pokemon. Chomp, which probably is well, I mean, I guess you'd think Kelio's a Scarf, but I know that it's not Kelio. Kelio is actually Specs in this team, so yeah, it could be Scarf. Could be Stealth Rock if Jirachi and Lando T aren't, or Mew aren't, but I think that's kind of the least likely to afford to be Stealth Rock at this point. Mew is probably the most likely. Could be Z Abuser, yeah. Then you got Jirachi, could be like a special defensive pivot. Could also be Stealth Rocker, making Mew, whatever, because Mew could run anything. I mean, Jirachi really could run anything as well. You got Lando T, another likely Z user, and you have a Keldeo. This team kind of actually is confusing, like, to guess the sets from like afar, but like I knew it. So I'm not gonna spoil all that, but I will say that the Keldeo is not the Scarfer, and let's go on. Actually, before I do that, I just want to say matchup. Definitely favors League, considering Gastrodon kind of runs through to 6.
Torn T outlasts ABR's team. Mew kind of cucks a couple Pokemon. Um, Mega Metagross, if it's Pursuit, could trap the Jirachi, which then makes Bulu just pretty much go ham, especially if it's quicker than Mew. So yeah, I'd say League is a pretty strong matchup this game. Almost maybe even more so than ABR did game one, in my opinion. So yeah, let's see how the game goes. We're gonna see Tornado Starion lead into Mew. Probably just a free knockoff. Yup, knockoff is to play, which is a fine one. Utility. ABR gonna reveal Ice Beam. I don't know. Maybe that means he doesn't have Stealth Rock. Maybe that means he's saving Stealth Rock. Just want to get some damage off to force it out. Forces it out. He does. Will-O-Wisp, and that's gonna synchronize both. So that's a pretty moot turn. Although favoring League is he got damage and quote unquote momentum, or at least the match we wanted. ABR is down to half health. So he's got a soft boiled. League reveals Volt Switch, which is an unconventional move on Mew, but I suppose it works. Whatever floats your boat, you know. Soft boiled here from ABR. League probably calced it, knowing that his bull is quicker, otherwise he wouldn't make this play. But he subs into a Wisp. Likely, again, knowing that it was quicker, otherwise that would be a very unnecessary and stupid risk at this point in the game. But it works out. So we're going to see Swords Dance on the Ice Beam. I'm not sure how League's going to play this because it's still a pretty healthy Mew that probably dies, that probably lives here. However, ABR thinks otherwise and is going to go with Keldeo. So perhaps it does die. I don't know the calc. Hornleash is going to take the life of the Keldeo, bring it to full, but then give ABR momentum to go to his Landers T, which could now bluff random Sludge Wave or Z-Fly. It's going to go for Stealth Rock. A very nice play from ABR, but then Lee's going to go to Tornado T on that, and then you turn into Jirachi, get the Metagross in, which probably is a Pursuit variant. We're going to see the play here is Pursuit. Going to get a crit, doing a bit over half the ABR, and then Fire Punch the Bay from ABR, doing only 27%. So yeah, ABR has pretty much lost his Jirachi at this point. However, League makes a very odd play of switching out. I think that Pursuit will 100% play there. But hey, what happens? You don't know. I think he's still in a fine position. U-turn, crit into him. Greninja's to play. Gastrodon's to play to hard wall, Greninja. And yeah, we're going to see long distance. That's kind of what I'm saying. I mean, ABR can't really break this Gastrodon, especially without his Specs Caldiel. I'm not really 100% sure on that fodder, but I don't really think it's going to matter in the long haul. I think that this Gastrodon is going to get some burns. You know, if his curse is going to curse up, nothing really stops it besides Mew possibly having taunt, but that seems kind of unlikely. It'll probably just wisp it and then maybe go. It can't even freeze it because it's called. Can't get psychic drop. So yeah, this is kind of rough. I mean, a Z ground type could get a free turn and then maybe try and nuke it, but I don't see how likely that is. Yeah, this is looking kind of good for League. Especially considering he already is in a 6-5 position and Keldeo is gone, which means that probably consistently damaged Gastrodon with Secret Sword, given that it was design, you know. But yeah, we're gonna see Mew as the play. It's a fine play, but Curse is gonna be played from League, which is another fine play, revealing his set pretty much. I don't know if he's gonna stick it around and get burnt though. Yup, nope. He's gonna go to his own Mew into the Wisp, fine play, because it's already burnt, and his opposing Mew's already synchronized to burn. So yeah, that is fine. We're going to see Defog from League, which is going to remove the Field of Hazards. We're going to see Soft Boiled from ABR just to get itself up to 94% after the burn, cancels out everything. And we see Rooster Mew, Wisp, and that's kind of a useless turn, just healing up a small amount of Mew's health as ABR decays 6% more after having his leftovers knocked off and being burnt. We're going to see another, a double Wisp. Yeah, this is kind of the epitome of boring. One of these players have to give eventually. ABR will probably heal up here. No, he's gonna Ice Beam here. Maybe they'll both heal up. Maybe they'll both spam Wisp again. Oh, how exciting is this? Lovely sequence. Wisp for League and Wisp for ABR. One of these guys gonna have to give eventually. Otherwise, I'll still be narrating by the time that I'm out of college. We're going to see Wisp again and an Ice Beam from ABR, just, kind of getting a slight advantage, forcing League to probably recover up a bit quicker despite having leftovers equipped on his Mew, whereas APRs were knocked off. However, League is going to persist and Wisp once more, whereas ABR is going to soft. And then ABR is going to switch up on Wisp. Well done from League, sticking to the issue. You can't argue with that. And Jirachi is now burnt, and ABR is really falling behind quickly in this game. You can't really blame him, though. I mean, he hasn't really formally misplayed, just sort of a good matchup for League. So, yeah, props to League. Lando T is to play. Stealth Rock on the Gastrodon into the Mew. Yup. Earthquake here doing 48. That's an alarmingly high amount of damage. ABR could Stealth Rock here, could potentially just kill it here. He's going to go for the Stealth Rock option, with does not miss, leaving Lando T burnt alongside the Mew and Jirachi, which means that League's Mew has efficiently done its job. despite leaving rocks in the field as it dies. And now Metagross is the play for the league side. And Ice Punch into the Mew, dealing 21.3%, revealing a high physical defense investment. Mew is going to be at 67 after burn, and then going to softball up the fall on the Tornado's T-switch in. This Mew looking somewhat problematic, actually, for League, now that you think about it. But Wisp is going to... Oh, actually, nope. It's now going to burn the Tornado's T as well. Okay, yeah. So now Hurricane's going to miss. Hurricane's going to hit this time, but not confuse. So ABR is going to recover all the way to fall. And pivot to Jirachi. Up, smart play, because that's your lone flying resistant. It's not really useful in this matchup, and you don't want to lose the Mew because it's kind of your key right here. Knockoff into the Jirachi, doing a mere 19%, and Healing Wish, good play, into the Lando T. So therefore, that burn was kind of useless. Just sort of forced him to proactively fodder the Jirachi. And the stealth rocking into the Mew earlier was good for an ABR side. However, there's going to be scared of Finbaris, scared out in the Mew. Bulu's going to come in, and Bulu's going to go absolutely ham here. It's going to do Horn Leech for 46%, which is a hefty chunk, I'd say. And then Greninja's a double from ABR. Very nice double, predicting the Metagross. Hard read, but it's still a long uphill road. Any momentum that he might have gotten there. So yeah, Ice Beam fishing for freeze, Ice Beam fish, nope, no freeze. Um, Unfortunate. Now we're gonna see Mew on an Earthquake doing a mere 20%, however 26 and change after the burn, because there's again no leftovers on the Mew. So NC is gonna come in here, soft boiled is the play from Mew. I'm looking at the position, I'd say the top of Wooloo gets in again and then just kind of wrecks ABR's shit in, just a question of having the balls to do it. You could fodder Garchomp to do so. It looks like that's what he's doing. Maybe trade it for rocks. Yup, rocks, Ice Beam. Now, I mean, I guess you could go Metagross, but I think Bulu is probably play. Yep, Bulu's the play. The question is, he's gonna sub on a Wisp, sub on a Wisp, or sub on Ice Beam? Subbed on a Wisp. So that is kind of lights out for ABR in the short haul at least. I don't know if we'll be able to cover from the long haul. Hornleech, critical hit doing 58, meaning that before the +2 wouldn't have killed, but ABR clearly valued Mew more so than Keldeo. So yeah, you can't really go back and call that a misplay. It was not. Hornleech is going to take out the Mew, and he said sorry about that, referring to the crit, and ABR said it didn't matter. And I'm inclined to agree with that, but good sportsmanship from League. We're going to see an Ice Beam here from the Ninja, trying to revenge the Bulu. I don't know if this is scarred for eval. Well, I do know, but I'm not going to reveal it for the sake of the game. Ice Beam here. And if ABR's got a grass move, he could use it. No, we got Taunt. They never run grass moves. Who am I kidding? But Taunt is a nice tech for, webs and stall. A nice anti-metagame move, and it blocked the recover there. They have +1, Earthquake doing 70. Extra sensory, an attempt to flinch. Earthquake, nope. Lights out. Gastrodon plus Blue plus Mega Metagross should be finishing this game. Earthquake is going to kill this. Now we're going to see Mega Metagross follow up. It's got Ice Punch, just game over for the Landorus. Couldn't switch in with Garchomp. Garchomp's probably going to be able to revenge kill at Scarf. So yeah, but he's going to Rock Slide instead, knowing that his only way to win would be to flinch out both Pokemon, as the Tornado Stallion is indeed immune to Earthquake. So that's going to give League a fairly convincing win of his own. Sort of similar to ABR's game 1 win in a sense. So it's going to leave the series at 1-1. Both players have played relatively well. I haven't really seen many misplays on either side. So we're going to be going into game 3 in just one moment as I reposition myself. My computer as well. I'm sorry, this is a bit unprofessional, but I'm not really a professional YouTuber, so I guess I don't give a fuck. Okay, so we're going to see ABR versus League game 3. I hope you all are ready. I'm going to be clicking it right now. Yup, and we're going to be seeing League is going to be using a nice team with Marowak, Magearna, Latios, Landorus, Darien, Galio, Scizor, whereas ABR is using Garchomp, Metagross, Volcarona, Tangrowth, Mew, and Greninja. Looking at the teams, I'd say that the Marowak is quite threatening for the League side. Even if there's a Greninja, it's just a threat in general, always. Whereas from ABR, the Garchomp can be a threat depending on the set. I mean, Landorus T is always there, but yeah. Metagross is kind of dick tier unless that's in Fire, which it wouldn't make much sense on a team with Greninja and Volcarona. The Volcarona, I mean, it's a threat offensively, depending on the set, but
Keldeo usually revenge kills it unless ABR has something up his sleeve to deal with that, like a berry or something. I don't know. That would be weird, wouldn't it? Tangrowth, Mew, Greninja, yeah, I mean, not really the most threatening Pokemon to the opposing side, given that it's likely to solve this Megairna and Scarf Keldeo, but the Greninja can always find a way to do work just because it's Greninja. I mean, it's kind of funny how broken that shit is. Yeah, ABR's got both the broken mods on his team. So, that's looking like some heat. But not really much analysis to say. I'd say the matchup sort of depends on stats on ABR's side and simply just execution. It's pretty neutral unless there's like one element of the team that can like really just really take a dick to League. So let's wait and see. Keldeo lead into Greninja lead. Good for League. Double out into Scizor, making an aggressive play. Garchomp, might be ideal, might not. I'm not really sure why Garchomp was the play into Keldeo. Maybe he's predicting a double. If so, good for ABR. He's going to Soft Rock into U-turn for 40%. And that's going to be a Latios follow-up. Could Defog. Could Draco. Draco's to play. Probably going to be Pursuit Metagross, given it's only Steel type. Not going to be Pursuit Metagross. Gonna Mega Evolve after taking a Specs Draco. Meteor Mash into Scizor. 22%. That's kind of weak. Volcarona's to play here. Roosters to play here. Latios 76 going to be a Quiver Dance. I don't know if this is Bug Buzz or not. Not looking like it to me. Spec Psyshock, Greninja, nicely done. Magirna, Extra Sensory. Looks like a kind of easy Power Fire to me, man. Come on, he's not going to Keldeo when you got a Volk in the pack. You're gonna go for Power Fire here. It's gonna reveal Z, all out pummeling. That's gonna kill that Greninja a couple times over, maybe. I don't know, probably not. But okay, now the Volcarona's in, and he's gonna get a Quiver Dance. Nope, just Fire Blast, Landorus T. It's a fine play. You kind of want the Keldeo at full, which is kind of why I disagreed with extra censoring there. Garchomp is to play. Fodder it off to Draco. This game's going by pretty quickly, but League has a 5-4 advantage. Volcarona's here. Is ABR just going to go for the game? Is he going to have something for the Stone Edge on Keldeo? We're going to have to wait and see. Thinking about it, there's no way he's Quiver Dancing if he's not like a berry. Otherwise, that's just the most premature Quiver Dance. Unless he's just trying to get the Tangrowth in, but why not double do it then? I mean, could be a middle ground play, but I just disagree with that. I mean, if you look at it, yeah, I mean, if this gets past Keldeo, it just wins, but it's just is it gonna be able to? I mean, Scarf Stone Edge is the likely set, so we're gonna see Stone Edge, Charty Berry, 54% second Quiver Dance, and yeah, looking like this is a very anticlimactic game. Looks like it's kind of over. I mean, yeah, Magirna sack to minimize the Giga Drain damage. 4% recovery is going to be at half. Marowak in an attempt to at least force a Fire Blast to come down. It's not going to live unless he's special defensive. And nope. So that's going to die off. Latios going to die. Probably the Fire Blast, but it's not Hidden Power Ice or Bug Buzz. Didn't have Bug Buzz. Hidden Power Ice. Yup. Scizor could crit and dodge, but even then, I mean, the Mew and the Tangrowth should win. Fire Blast is going to connect after Bullet Punch for 20%, and a Flame Body activates, and then the aforementioned Keldeo is going to die off. And, just some interesting talk in the chat, I guess. I mean, League was talking about how he kind of thought it was Charty, and he might have wanted to go for Hydro Pump, but you can't really predict that. I mean, I guess ABR could have been taking a desperate shot in the dark and not been Charty, wanting a miss or a League choke there. I mean, or just baiting a Tangrowth at the middle ground play I mentioned before. So really, you can't fault League for how he played. ABR just kind of had the set to win the match, which is a nice set, good tech. I believe that him and NJMP discussed it. So yeah, I'm not gonna give too many final thoughts. Just want to say that both players had a very successful run so far. ABR, I'm wishing him good luck in the finals. He's a personal friend of mine. I work with him on a consistent basis. He's, also a member of the OU Council with me. League is a nice upcoming player. I can't wait to see him in the World Cup play for Canada. He's probably going to start next time play at the guess. And hopefully he'll play in, future tournaments like SPL, Tour, OLT, who knows, whatever, if OLT even exists, or. But yeah, I like a lot of his teams. He's a good player. But yeah, not really many bad things to say. This is actually a good series for OST. I'm glad to see it, and I'm wishing ABR good luck in the final. So yeah, this is the first series, and I'm gonna be back with you guys. I'm actually gonna post both these on Smogon at the same time, probably. You'll see both this and my Ben Gay narration at the same time. So yeah, this is Vincent and Eder saying peace. I hope you guys watch the next one if this is the first one you're watching. If not, then I hope you enjoyed both of these. Thank you very much.